Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 3 coming up as I forget to unpause the replay. Spawning up in the top left hand position as the blue Zerg player. He represents Team Liquid, it's TLO. And his opponent in the top right, the purple Protoss, Patience. So I cast one of Patience games a couple of days ago. And people were like, damn, he's good. And he is good. He's proper ace. I'm really excited by him. A lot of people said they hadn't seen many of his games previously. And it's always good to find new and really promising players who are doing awesome stuff. And Patience isn't massively new, but he hasn't been hugely on the scene as sort of to the level of, say, like TLO or Hyun, who I believe he played a couple of days ago in the game I cast. So it'll be interesting to see what he's going to throw up against TLO in this match. It is going down on Whirlwind. They're in the vertical spawn positions. So basically that means that they're in the horizontal rush distance. All this really means is that TLO shouldn't be expanding out to here ever, but I highly doubt he would do that. This is just the expansion he needs to take. TLO also getting a quick little early win by sending his Overlord over to his opponent's base first, so he gets an earlier scout down. At the moment though, things going pretty samey for Patience. He's busy getting down his gateway expand, so pretty much normal stuff for the moment here. TLO going for a spawning pool first, so not risking going pool or hatch pool, but rather just getting that early. Hatch pool on Whirlwind can be a bit risky because if you were to expand here, which would be the most likely place to take, you are risking that if your opponent spawned in the vertical positions, that obviously be bad times. There's absolutely no way to get an Overlord over in position in time to actually scout out to work out where that third could go. So that's why TLO likely getting that spawning pool down first. Not to mention that it's just generally a nice build to go for and everything's fairly good. So for the moment, just 2 gases coming down for Patience. 2 probes in each gas. A mothership core should get started soon. Is rallying a 3rd probe over there, so that's all good as well. Cybernetics Corp on its way out too, so everything going pretty much steady. And so while we wait for this to build up, of course, let me remind everyone, maybe some of you are tuning in for the first time. I get StarCraft videos out every single day of the week, 365 days a year. And so you should subscribe so you don't miss any. They're all awesome. Go and watch some of the back catalogue and that sort of stuff because there are a lot of awesome StarCraft games out there. But enough about that, more about this game. TLO, with his natural down, just checking with some links to make sure there's no sneaky pylons or anything like that. Grabbing down his first gas geyser. His 3rd base is going to come down at a really interesting time, actually, if this drone is going to straight away become a hatchery. 3 minutes 55-ish. So the reason I'm saying that's so interesting is because TLO has already scouted down that his opponent has gateway expanded. Now, generally speaking, a Zerg player who sees that after going for a pool first won't rush down that 3rd hatchery. The 3rd hatchery will come much later, generally around the 6-minute mark. So TLO is playing a bit more of a risky game here, but he's got some lings out already. But what he's exceptionally vulnerable to would be some mothership core and say 2 stalkers coming and pushing out early on. Patience though isn't doing that. He's instead getting down a sentry, spending a lot of gas getting that through. He's also got a lot of gas coming out though from these 2 geysers. So what's he going to be spending that gas on? He's just hit 150 gas, so this is where we can start seeing things like a Stargate, and right on cue down comes the Stargate there. So of course TLO should be able to get a good little scout on this, but hasn't actually seen it yet. So hopefully we'll see him grab that, or grab a look at it pretty quick, but I think actually it's gonna get denied from a scout, so this is fantastic for Patience hiding that Stargate, and therefore is gonna catch TLO off guard with it. So if this Stargate does start coming and putting on some pressure, TLO is gonna be completely unaware of it for quite a while. He's gonna take a quick little peek now. Sees obviously 1 gateway coming down, can't quite see the 2nd one as of yet, and while he would have known that there were 6 probes in gas, he doesn't know exactly what tech came down. Confirms that, okay, there's 2 additional gateways there, so there must be some form of tech around. But without knowing what it is, it's going to be just so frustrating for TLO. It could be a Twilight Council, it could be going into a Dark Shrine, could be a Stargate, could be a robotics facility, all viable options, and TLO needs to work out which one it is. But it's Phoenix that are going to be coming up, and what he's going to have to be contending with. TLO sending in the Overlord, the 2nd Overlord, just to try and get this confirmation of what's coming through. Should safely be able to get up there, and of course it's already been seen that it's a Stargate, since the Phoenix is doing a good job of picking away an Overlord. The next Phoenix should be able to come and pick off the 2nd Overlord too. That's straight away 200 minerals worth of damage gonna get done. Sentry's working away at it too. This is frustrating. Meanwhile, Hallucinated Phoenix just taking a good little peep around. TLO supply blocked, losing those overlords. That's very frustrating for him. He does have more in production, but of course, this is just a big delay. It's very frustrating. And not something you really want to be contending with. But having seen that the Phoenix is down early means the TLO has had a chance to quickly rack up some Spore Crawlers. 2 in production, 1 of the third, 1 of the natural. The Queens notice hugging up against the Spores, or at least should be, trying to make sure that if there was a lift, they wouldn't get taken out. A second Spore on its way. Only 3 Phoenix, so this Queen will be safe. Since that Spore Crawler should finish up fairly quickly, so unfortunately the Spore Crawler attacking the wrong Phoenix, so the Queen will die. It needed to attack the lifting one, but that again, another good little pick off by Patience, who is getting the +1 air weapons upgrade. That +1 air weapons is really solid, since it's going to make these Phoenix even more effective. They're picking off the odd drone, hurting TLO's production since the Queen has been taken out. Spore Crawlers being forced at all of these bases. 6 Spore Crawlers in total, which is of course 6 drones and a good chunk of minerals, so that's positive. And all Patience is doing behind this is jumping on with his tech, getting down that robotics facility, and generally playing it how he wants to. His 5 Phoenix doing a good little job of poking and prodding around, more coming out as well, already at 6 with the 7th in production, just decimating this Queen count, and of course none of the Phoenix getting killed in the process, so that's very positive. The robotics bay coming down too, so he's going to be taking up into those Colossi. Meanwhile, TLO only just about to finish up his lair. Got a decent drone count up at 62, but the Phoenix doing an okay job of actually picking apart drones. 3 workers have now been killed, and of course the Queen's going down is, as I mentioned, just a frustrating thing you don't really want to be dealing with. A few Lings were going to try and poke and prod him, but don't manage to achieve anything, so Patience just getting down that +1 attack, also with his Immortal out. Following up with a second Immortal just before that robotics base done. The Phoenix still being very active on the field, 7 of them now and 8 just popped, and this is just really looking for anything that could get picked off. Bear in mind that the +1 air weapons is done. The damage output of these Phoenix is pretty substantial, and Patience just really being effective with them is getting very close to losing one, but manages to keep it up. But unfortunately some of these Queens are out of position, so they get lifted and get absolutely torn apart. Very effective play by Patience at the moment, who has taken out nearly 10 times more resources compared to what he's lost so far. So, Patience hasn't yet been scouted, is now getting a quick little look that, okay, there's 2 Immortals coming out. The robotics bay was already known about though, so that's fine. What TLO critically hasn't seen is this robotics bay. Doesn't know a Colossus is going to be produced. Phoenix may come back to try and pick off this Overseer. Only 1 there for the moment, so the other, I believe 7, are having a good job. Going to go and try and pick anything apart. Phoenix was just doing everything it can to force this Overseer out so that the Colossus isn't scouted. That's really the big thing. Now, Hydras have just hit the field for TLO. The first few just trickling out. 6 on the ground at the moment. But of course, in low numbers, the Phoenix can pick them up and start taking them out very simply. Overlords also getting torn apart. And that acts as a big supply block for TLO. 3 more Overlords in production, but a good 30-second supply block being caused. And this is ultimately just great play by Patience. Systematically picking apart his opponent and really trying to take control of just the timings and everything going on. So much so that these Phoenix acting incredibly frustrating to TLO. He will get down the Spire in order to get some Corruptors out to help deal with it. Yes, the Corruptors will double up in helping deal with the Colossi, but I don't think they've actually been seen yet, unless I've missed something. But no, I don't think they have been scouted. Are now known because, of course, it's just gone and killed a Zergling. But Ling Hydra is not too strong up against Colossi. But regardless, Patience isn't moving out yet. He's instead getting down his 3rd base, putting him into equal workers as TLO. These Phoenix ripping apart the Overlords. Already 2 more taken down, only giving 10 supply basically buffer for TLO at the moment, which is going to be very annoying. A huge stream of Lings trying to go through, but Patience with the absolutely fantastic force fields is able to stop a scout going down on his 3rd. Has already been seen though, so okay, I take that back. The scout has gone down, but he stopped any aggression going in there. Great little move there by Patience for those force fields. He's busy getting down the +1 ground armor. He's already got +1 attack, +1 air attack. Supply blocking momentarily TLO again, but more importantly just picking up so many drones. 14 workers killed by these Phoenix. Just so much activity on them and just harassment potential really being shown to the max of these Phoenix at the moment. Overlords getting picked up whenever they kind of pop about. The Phoenix just Again, not even one has been killed so far this game. Just staying out of range of this spore ball. The damage, Phoenix trying to stay back. The good focus fire there from TLO will allow one more to get killed. 6 still remain though. A queen died in the process, which means no more inject up on this main base, but out come the Corruptors. They pretty much shut down the Phoenix for the moment and will help against the Colossi. But look at just the amount of stuff Patience has got at the moment. He's down by 10 supply overall, but he's got the better upgrades, he's got the equal bases, and he's just going to be so strong. Oh no, the Phoenix though flying straight over the Hydralisks, and that means the majority, all but one of them, gets taken down. Massive win there for TLO, and actually takes a solid supply advantage. So, going in for a bit more pressure. Is this army going to be able to actually engage though? Because the Corruptors are pretty exposed. The Stalker's doing a good amount of damage to them, but the Colossi getting taken down way too quickly for Patience's liking. Is able to deal with the majority of the Hydras and Lings, or the Lings for the moment, but the Hydralisks are still there. They don't have anything to buff the damage for them at the moment, but it's the Corruptors staying up that's causing the big problem. If those Colossi go down, it's going to be so hard to face off against this many Hydralisks, even with the better upgrades. So, it all comes down to how much damage can TLO do here. He's taking out a good chunk of the army, taking out a lot of sentries as well, so a good amount of gas damage being done here. But Patience is still on equal mining bases. The 4th is now up for TLO, but it hasn't been up for long, and nor does it have any drones over there mining. So, TLO at the moment is still looking solid in this game. Patience, though, has also got good production. He's still trading more cost effectively than TLO at the moment, and of course TLO is reliant on these Hydras to do so much, but they can be relied upon since there are only 2 Colossi for the moment, and with a good number of Corruptors coming out, any more that may get to the field are going to get shut down pretty quickly. So TLO is showing a very effective strategy, getting his hive out, teching up solid, and just generally staying on top of things. Patience, though, not too far behind in supply, and this is definitely anyone's game. Patience only 2 workers down compared to TLO. He's got those additional bases, and he's looking really solid. He's even going to try and shut down the 4th base of TLO with these Zealots. Shouldn't be able to do so, but he does get it down to under half health, which is always looking promising. A handful of Hydralisks are getting caught out of position here, so will get taken apart, and this is the small little win that Patience is going to be looking for. He wants to get any damage like this done as quickly as he can, because just picking apart units for free is always going to be good times. A Ling does make it up into the main base just to get some scouting, but isn't going to see anything too treacherous. It's more what it doesn't see that's going to be beneficial for TLO, and that's that there isn't a Templar Archives, there isn't a Twilight there is a Twilight Council, but no Templar Archives as of yet, and therefore no High Templar, no Storm, just the Colossi, and therefore a mass amount of Corruptors can be basically got out on the field in order to deal with this force. But Patience moving forward now. He's only 13 army supply behind and does have the upgrade advantage with the 2-1 upgrades compared to 1-1. But these Corruptors showing exactly what they're made of, coming from all sides at the moment, picking apart the Colossi. 2 go down, only 1 more remains, and once that falls, the Hydralisks are going to have free reign to start tearing up this gateway force. And Patience realizing the calamity, or basically the monstrosity of this army, and just backs away, trying to keep things patient, just to really avoid too many losses, hoping TLO will overcommit. TLO sends 1 Corruptor in to try and pick off that Colossus, but it survives with only 5 HP. 1 more shot and it will go down, though. A couple of Corruptions being used as well, something you don't see used often enough, and therefore Patience has no choice but to retreat back with his Blinkstalkers. The Greatest Fire is on its way down as well now for TLO, so he's ready to transition into those Broodlords. He's looking so solid, the 4th base up and running. Patience needs to find a way to start breaking through this, and considering he hasn't continued on with the upgrades, he can't rely on a good upgrade advantage. Once Broodlords get out on the field, it's going to be such a tough spot for Patience, considering that his Colossus count is only at the 1. He doesn't have much splash damage, he doesn't have a way to deal with Broodlings once they come through, and that's if he does manage to make this push really work out positively for him. The force fields are good for the moment, but the Colossus died. The 4th base is really his priority goal. If Patience can take down this 4th, then actually he puts TLO on equal bases. He's picking up a lot of the drones in the process, going for the guaranteed damage rather than trying to take out the hatchery for the moment. Does manage to kill 40 workers so far this game, and that was a good little amount of damage done. More Warpins coming in from this War Prism, but TLO happy to wait because he's got 7 Broodlords coming in. He knows that since Patience doesn't have any splash damage, that actually those Broodlords are going to be terrifying. He just needs to buy enough time to get them out, and I think he just about has done it. They are now finishing. They're in a safe position. These Stalkers are going to start taking so much damage from the Broodlings, and with the Hydras there aiding with more DPS, with the Broodlings just basically blocking out a lot of the movement of this Gateway Force, TLO looking to be in a very good spot for the moment, but Patience is up in supply, and that's because of the amount of workers that TLO lost there. So, being up in supply is always a good spot, especially as a Protoss player up against the Zerg. But can he make it work? It's such a gateway heavy force. The Colossus count is at 0. There aren't any. Just 50 Blink Stalkers, which are going to be effective against the Broodlords if they can get underneath. But by focusing the Broodlords, it allows the Hydras and Lings to start ripping through them. So it's going to be a goal of prioritization from the Protoss player of the moment. TLO is trying to retake an expansion, his 4th base, the other 4th now getting taken, expanding towards his opponent, but it's the Broodlords slowly starting to siege that are going to be the good times. The single Colossus is now out, but the Broodlords, as long as they're careful, are going to be very problematic to deal with. A lot of Lings coming forward, TLO just edging the Broodlords back, keeping them in a safe position, doesn't want the Stalkers to blink underneath them. Patience now is not trading as well as he was previously, pretty much trading equally for the majority of this game now, but the Broodlords are going to start dealing a lot more damage. Those Hydras doing a lot, but there's the aggressive forward blink. Are the Stalkers going to be able to eat through those Broodlords in time? Well, for the moment, only one has fallen. The Hydralisks dishing out so much damage. Patience's supply plummeting and the Broodlords staying alive. And it's the Broodlords staying up that is just so beneficial for TLO. The Stalker count has pretty much halved. It was over 50, now down under 23, and of course TLO with the Hydralisks there as well, looking good, but a good little blink under those Broodlords is going to help. But the Hydras is dishing out so much damage while this is all ongoing that even though a couple of the Broodlords went down, the Stalker count has plummeted far more. So TLO looking incredibly solid at the moment, completely on form, and while there is the odd Colossus coming through and the odd Stalker picking up a couple of Broodlords, the Hydras are just dishing out so much damage. Patience did pull a couple of probes there to try and help, is blinking his Stalkers underneath now, but GG is called and TLO takes game number 1 of this best of 3. So if you enjoyed the cast, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, and then jump over to my channel, and I'll see you at game number 2 in just a sec.